us about aquatic sewer root control, and we'll go from there.
Thanks for having me. I'm Tony Hale. I'm an operator at Climate Improvement. We started a couple of years ago with aquatic sewer root control, cutting the sewer system, cutting the roots in the sewer system has been kind of an ongoing problem. Root reports are done, every month. You have to go cut them, go back, recut them. All the information was kept in a log. We file, and then we'll go back and after 3 months and have the TV crew look at them again. Probably have to cut them again. So we've got into a program of our own root control. When we did that, we didn't realize that it was there was absolutely nothing out there to keep the CEUs required to keep a license because it's a restricted use pesticide. So your operator has to be licensed, and that's through the Department of Agriculture. So we'll show you some of the treatments that we did on 8-inch, 15-inch, and 33-inch pipe with our new program. Okay, this is the 8-inch. It'll be the pre and post treatment. This is all the footage from our TV crews. So you can see it's got pretty good kill. It's a little lower flow line, so it's going to, as it decomposes, it will fall off and wash downstream. But after about a year, we'll go back and actually clean the lines. There's a considerable difference. And since we've been doing this, we've actually got root areas that we've been able to take off the root report altogether. And that's pretty good accomplishment when they've been on there for 30 plus years. So it's a considerable savings to the district as well as the longevity of the pipe. Mechanically cleaning is not probably the best answer, but it's been the only answer. Or you can hire an independent entity to treat them for you, and that can be rather costly. So it's just going through the same one over and over. Okay, this one here is the 15-inch. This particular line is out in front of a high school, so you're limited as to when you can really treat it simply because of traffic, for one. And you don't want to have to keep coming back, so we had to cut it. There's really nothing mechanically that we found that's worked over 12-inch. You just don't generate the energy with the tool to cut the roots effectively. And plus, there's quite a bit of traffic control that's required to do this particular line. Okay, I think that went through the post as well, didn't it? It did both. Okay, this is the 33-inch line here. The next one. There's the post tree. Oh, there we go. Sorry. See, there's hardly any roots left in this particular line. So the chemical treatment worked quite well in this particular instance. You see by the color of the roots that they've died. I'm going to probably go into the 33-inch if you'd like. Okay, this is us treating the 33-inch line. We actually have a TV following us to actually put us on the roots. I don't know if maybe it's done that big a line before, whether it be mechanically or chemically. But this is the product here now. And the cameraman will tell us by phone where we're at. And we'll stop on that root section and treat that root section. As you can see, there's a pretty big mass on the sides covered with grease. Ideally, you'd like to cut that first so you get a better chance of killing it 3 or 4 months later. But in this case, the line's just too big. By spot treating, you're eliminating a big slug that you aren't even capable of creating a slug 33 inches around. It would cost you, for this pipe right here in general, we did the math, it would be $58,000 to do the footage that we did if you could make a slug that big. We did this section for $45. we've never been able to actually video with a slug. So when you spot treat, you actually can use your TV to your advantage. They can give you your footages, they can stop you where the roots are. You know, the whole 33-inch pipe didn't need foam. So you're able to save quite a bit of money in materials. Did I go into the back into the post yet? It seems like it's just relooping.
Leave it there.
Yeah, this would be the post treatment. We would. We just re-TV'd this one. We give it, you know, probably that. I think that got 3 months on this particular application. Actually, a little less than 3 months. But you can see a considerable difference. That was the big curtain. And this is just one treatment, you know. So normally, what we would do is, if you've seen those kind of masses on the sides of the pipe, we'd cut them first, wait 3 months, and then treat it to be more efficient and more effective. But in this case, it's 33 inches. And I don't know anybody that has, you know, mechanical tooling that does 33 or bigger inch pipe. But the good part has been with us anyway is the spot treatment, not using the slug, has been very cost effective, but we've seen the results that have actually allowed no retreatment, no cutting. We've eliminated that as a root report, which is what's encouraging. When they've been 20+ year root sections, you're actually killing the root. But move on from there now. Okay, the chemicals that we're using is metam sodium. It'll be a liquid 5-gallon container. We're using a vapor rooter as a product that we're using. And a diclofenac, it's a powder. It has another container inside the machine, and you'd add up to 5-6 gallons of water to that. The applicator must be licensed by the Department of Agriculture, like I stated earlier. It's a restricted use pesticide. Because we're running a problem getting the CEUs to keep our licensing, we got a hold of the Department of Agriculture and asked them if we could start an association, which we did. And we give them an agenda, and he comes back with us and tells us how many CEUs and what portion they pertain to, so we can continue our licensing without having to retest, as well as we share this information. There's other entities in Salt Lake that are using the same product. So it's kind of nice to work with them, and we get the training in that particular entity, not bed bugs or crabgrass or things like this. That's the classes we were taking. It wasn't pertaining to anything that we were doing. So they allowed us and encouraged us to do the Aquatic Spur Root Control Association. It's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. And the nice part about it was the sewer root control classes and testing and text was so obsolete that they want us to actually rewrite that, and they're actually going off of what we're doing as kind of a guideline and format. Okay, we found that by using the information that we're obtaining by our TV crews, we can actually use that to our advantage, and then we take those images and determine whether to treat, on a smaller diameter pipe, treat it first, or if we cut it first, come back in 3-4 months and then treat it. If the mass is too big, there are some additives in the chemical that degreases and stuff like that, but the masses normally are pretty hard to penetrate with the full chemical. So if it was a big enough mass, we would cut it, come back in 3 or 4 months, and then treat it. We found that by using your most current information and dealing directly with your TV crew, it will give you the right angle to take on these root cuts or chemical treat. We try to stay away from the root cut if at all possible. We like to do it chemically now and stay away from the mechanical aspect. It's pretty harmful to the pipe. Okay, when you're doing your record keeping for this particular product, the things you have to have is the address of the treatment, the amount of chemical that you're using. We're capable of doing a 90-foot section with about a quart of product. That's unheard of. The manufacturer recommendation is 1,000 feet of 8-inch pipe for 1 full unit of chemical. We're actually almost doubling that. And we can, and ours isn't limited to 8-inch. We could get the same amount of coverage for the same price for any size diameter pipe. You need to have the time and the date, the percentage of dilution, the applicator's license number, the pipe size, and the direction of treatment. This is for your protection. You keep all of this information, and you do it every time that you treat. This is one of our root reports right here. So we'd get this information from our TV crew. We would put, as our address, we would actually use our manhole numbers and put them in here, the pipe size, the diameter of the pipe, what direction. So what they would do is if there was roots, if this was a 400-foot section from this manhole to this manhole, and there was roots at 100 feet, then they would write that in there 100 feet. So we would only treat that section at 100 feet. We wouldn't waste our chemical and send it downstream when there's nothing in the rest of the pipe to treat. So we would only treat that section right through here, and it would be on here. Then we would come through here, and we would, the cleaning crew, we'd put who it was, the date, the truck number, and we would say, manhole A to manhole B, treated 90 feet of 400 feet of 8-inch pipe, and used 0.25 of the chemical, which we will put it up here. The units used is here. You'd have your vapor rooting here, or you'd have your root cut here. You make that determination with the pictures you're getting from your TV crew. So use your TV crew to your advantage, and only treat what you need to treat. Okay. The 2 different treatments that we've seen is the slug treatment, which is how our equipment was manufactured, and spot treatment. We've actually weren't having any luck with the slug treatment. So the slug treatment, it could be hit and miss, very costly because you're treating a whole pipe that doesn't even need to be treated. It can be dangerous because you're sending this mass of chemical down a line, and if you over-treat an area, you got a huge amount downstream you got to contend with. As the pipe diameter goes up, the cost goes up. Okay, they're very limited on what how big you can build that slug, and you can't TV it while it's being treated. Okay, spot treatment gives you direct contact to the roots. It's very low cost. It's easily controlled. Has no limits to the pipe size. We have from 6 to 44 inches of pipe in our district. We have the capability of servicing all of them. The size of the pipe doesn't change the price either. Can be TV'd, as you've seen in the video, while it's being treated. Okay, the cost for the root control, if you're going to hire it out versus in-house, it's $1.59 a foot by hire for 8-inch. As the price goes up with the diameter of the pipe. As the pipe goes up, the price goes up, and you're limited to the size of the pipe that they can treat because they can't form a slug any bigger than you can. They will not spot treat, so they're getting paid for footage, so they're going to use as much footage as they possibly can to charge you. You can't control that slug. Nobody can control it, so if you can spot treat, naturally you're going to be safer. It can be dangerous and even kill a small treatment plant. We've had numerous contacts from outside of Utah that they've had this issue, whether by their collections department or by for hire, that they've just come in and dosed their lines to death and has killed their treatment plants. So they're dealing with that issue right now. And you're increasing your liability. If you do it in-house, the cost is $15 per 90 feet of any diameter pipe. Spot treatment is easy to control. Directly treating only root sections that's needed, the treatment is the way you're saving your biggest money. You're not filling the whole pipe full of chemical. It's a waste. There's nothing in the middle of the pipe you need to treat. By spot treating, you are lowering your liabilities. The reason why you're lowering your liabilities is because you're not sending a slug down line. This creates H2S. You wouldn't want to get in a manhole for a couple of days after you treated one of these lines. Any questions? Yeah. Well, we haven't seen it kill the whole tree, but we've only done it for a couple of years, and so far we've seen complete kill. We haven't seen any regrowth. The reason why you would wait in the event that you were to cut it first because you had too much of a mass is because you need the meristem to regrow, which is what would absorb the chemical and actually kill the root. But as far as killing the tree or anything after you treated it, that isn't going to happen. Yeah. Well, I believe it's around $40,000 for the vapor rooter. Probably, let's say, $10,000 to install it if you're having a truck built. You could definitely install it cheaper yourself. And then about $7,200 for a pallet of chemical. We were treating, we were hiring out 30,000 feet. Is that what it was? 30,000 feet, which cost us $50,000 a year. So for another couple of $1,000, you are self-contained versus giving it away, and they still come back. Because the for hire still has to come back. They didn't kill the roots. They just they just slowed down the growth. Any other questions? Yeah.
Use it in manholes as well.
Pardon me?
Use it to treat manholes as well.
Like the shelf and whatnot? Yeah. Oh yeah, we have a portable deal that we use that we have some mixture with. We'll go clean the shelf and clean the cone and whatnot, and it's worked real well, versus the over-the-counter, weed killer that we had been using in the past. It's worked real good. Yes?
When I talk to commercial places, they say it's like 1 or 2 years that it's lasts, but you found it lasts longer, grows the roots longer.
Well, we've been doing it for about 2 years, and we've had great success. Again, I couldn't go any further than that. We've been doing it for 2 years. However, in the 2 years we've done it, we haven't had any regrowth in some of the areas that when we went to. Now, again, we started with the slug system, which is the way we were sold the equipment. We couldn't get to work. As soon as we started creating foam between the slope, between the flow, and between the depth of the water, it was gone. It wouldn't build. I don't care what anybody says, it didn't build. We created a perfect environment in our shop. We had a 12-inch pipe, no flow, no grade, nothing. I couldn't get the foam to fill the pipe. So how are we going to do it in the field? We came up with our own technique, and we designed and developed our own nozzles. And now that's what we've been using, and we've been able to spot treat by doing this. Saved us a considerable amount of money, as well as there's other, they haven't never addressed big pipe. We have big pipe that has roots in it. They've only went to maybe 18-inch is about anybody talks about. Even for higher will tell you they're not going to go anything higher than that. It's just, they can't make it, they can't make their product foam that much of a whole mass. 200 feet of a 15-inch pipe, a full slug of foam, doesn't seem logical to me. And it'd be like shaving cream in your hand. If I have a thing of shaving cream in my hand, I take my finger like this, my finger would be representing the roots in the top of the pipe, let's say. The foam doesn't regrow after the first set of roots have hit it. So you have this slug going down, just bouncing off the sides of the wall. Could be in somebody's lateral, if you have a sharp 90. You could be poisoning somebody's house with this product. So we wanted to find a way to do this where it was working for us, where it wasn't killing us in price. And when you're treating that much footage for $45 of 33-inch pipe, that's pretty impressive. And you've seen that was within the 33-inch pipe, I believe, from treatment to re-inspect was, I believe, less than 2 months.
So the equipment you bought, then you modified, it just did the foam and that, and you modified it to spray.
Correct.
The way you want. Do you do laterals the same way?
We don't do laterals. You can, there's independents that do laterals, but we don't do laterals. Any other questions?
I might have missed it. What did you say the chemical you're using?
It's a metasodium and a diclofenol. It's a 2-part chemical, comes in one box.
How do you get that down there before you turn it on the spray?
There's actually a nozzle there. No, there's one nozzle, and it's actually, it does 2 functions. That's actually part of the machine, and we adapted from there. Because whenever the nozzle was in the flow, or even partially in the flow, we lost any ability to foam. So we found that we didn't want to pull the skid completely and the nozzle completely out of the water because we lose the ability to propel. We have no resistance. So what we did was we said, let's keep it as low in the pipe as we can and be more stable. Let's bring the fluid tip above and let's create like a paint gun pattern. That way we're able to control what we're doing. We're keeping out of the water, and then our apparatus actually, depending on the flow, if it changes while you're foaming, it actually automatically adjusts. If you hit a belly, it automatically adjusts. It stays on the water top. It doesn't follow the nozzle at all. So the nozzle can stay at the bottom of the pipe, and the nozzle tip actually is above the flow line. Yes? But you should use proper PPE every time you mix it. It's really no mixing other than you're adding the 1 part into the 5 gallons of water. The rest of it's already in its own jug. It just snaps into the machine. But you'd use your proper PPE, have a well-ventilated area, wear a respirator, wear the proper gloves. Other than that, it isn't too bad. You just don't want to go in a manhole after a treatment because the H2S and the COs were rather high. We did some tests on that as well, and they were pretty crazy. Yeah.
You run into any problems like homeowners if they neglect to put heat traps in their house or their basement or anything like that? You get places smells or anything?
We haven't because we spot treat. We don't do full-length pipe. We don't do it very often because we don't have a lot of root sections in one continuous piece of pipe. It could happen, but we try to guard ourselves from that by not over-treating one particular neighborhood or area. Limiting it to, we've had more complaints with blowing somebody up with a nozzle cleaning than we ever will treating.
So say for treating next to a lateral, do you take any extra precautions or anything like that, let the homeowner know?
No, normally we actually, it's either a joint or it's a lateral that you're contending with as rooted. So the way this sprays actually pushes foam up into the lateral. We've actually had cases where it's eliminated the roots coming into our line from a lateral, which is not our responsibility because we don't maintain laterals. Yes?
The
No,
It goes right through your water hose?
correct. Correct. Yeah,
Inject it in it somehow?
it comes in through the machine, in through the hose, and then I actually use water pressure. You're using air pressure, and you're using, and it's creating the foam, pushing it through your hose reel. And so you can propel your nozzle down to the target with water. Then you will turn on your vaporutor. It'll start producing the foam that's required. Takes our truck about 3 minutes and 40 seconds producing proper foam. Once it's producing proper foam, then we can treat is, up to 1,800 feet with one particular application. We don't have to go restock more chemical. So we use the same nozzle both ways. Just has a valve in it that when the water pressure hits it, it shuts the valve so it can't foam. And once you release the water pressure, then it releases the piston and allows the foam to go out the front of the nozzle. Is there questions? Good, I think that's it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.